how many leads have actually come from content now?
A little bit over 1,000 leads.
So we got Jaime right here. I'm literally just gonna just jump right into it, give him a little overview, then we'll kind of get into like backstory and things like that. So overall, it's kind of been like a headline on Instagram with a few people. So how many leads have actually come from content now?
A little bit over 1,000 leads.
A little over 1,000. And that was from like how many videos? Just like a few, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably been, I'd say in the last like 30 days. Mostly it came from two specific videos. One's at like 50K views and the other one's at like 25K views. Mostly from those.
Okay.
Now,
So it didn't really even like go viral technically.
yeah, I mean, in real estate, like
In real estate, yeah, but I mean I've seen
it is pretty good numbers in the
yeah.
city I'm in. I'm not in Miami or Los Angeles or anything like that. But yeah, technically not viral. And even like the posts that are like 1,000 to 3,000 range are still getting like 10 to 40 inquiries, which like pretty solid.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the 10 to 40, yeah, literally with videos that can still get yeah, 2, 3,000 views is still a good amount. Because yeah, again, not every home tour is gonna perform that well. Unfortunately, I wish every single one did. Got, 500 leads in a single one. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
3,000 view video is amazing with like 20 inbound leads. And so before the Real Estate Content Academy, like what was your lead flow like looking like then?
Like non-existent. I was posting and creating a lot of stuff, but it was just kind of like throwing stuff to the wall and seeing what sticks instead of actually having a plan. So I'd say like, I had gotten some inquiries and like, a few DMs here and there, but no one that I'd say like, all right, this is like a lead, a solid lead.
Right. Okay. So how does it I guess like how does it feel now like finally getting I guess more it's like inbound business from content?
Definitely feels good. I've posted for a very long time, so it's nice to see some results. It's still very, very early on. And like, this all just happened within the last like 30 days. So, you know, it's just more so trying to make sure I'm starting to implement, we're starting to implement systems. But it
That's the
feels
thing
good to have some
when you get a
results.
crazy result like that, like unfortunately I think that's it with every business is you solve one problem and then it opens something new that you not that you have to solve that you get to solve. We now get to implement these systems. We get to see if we want, things like AI or scripts, different tracking. But again, that's great. I love to hear it. And just so that they can get a little bit, just like paint the picture, just like of you as like an agent, like a little bit more about you. Just kind of like paint the picture for them, like maybe where you're
I
located,
mean,
how long you've been
I've
an
been
agent for.
Yeah, I've been selling real estate. I'm my third year of selling real estate. I've been full time. This is my first full year full time. So I, in the beginning had a part time job until I could phase that out. And real estate took over. I'm about to close my 28th home next week. So I've done pretty well. There's still a lot of room for improvement. I'm not from my market, so I've been in my market 3 years now in Charlotte. So I had zero connections. So I had to build, the brand and the business from like pretty much scratch. I've been on this is my second team that I'm on. The first team was very investment focused, which I absolutely loved, learned a lot, but wanted to get into helping people a little bit more. So I switched to a team that focuses more on like just traditional residential real estate and like really helping people.
Mm.
So that's kind of like my journey so far.
Okay. How were you getting leads beforehand?
Open houses. So I do a lot of open houses. My main lead source. I get some leads from the team as well. And then like my sphere, I got a couple from the restaurant and stuff like that. And trying to meet people. I've gotten a couple from like a few different lender partners, but mainly open houses was like the big thing for me.
Okay. Okay. Was there like any big like before joining, like any like big struggles that you were dealing with, whether it was like content or like the business itself?
Time is always kind of an issue in this business, especially when you're working a second job. I was serving tables, so it was flexible. And it allowed me to mold the business how I wanted to mold it. But it was a lot of hours, put into it. And then like the content thing, I had been posting consistently for 2 years. So that was a lot. And it
What were
was
you kinda, like, putting out back then?
just whatever I could think of, like copying other people and doing my own version of it. I had some tours, but never like took it serious enough until I got, working with you where like we actually like broke down like this is exactly the science behind a tour. It was more like, all right, I'm just gonna show you this property and hope that it does well. Now it's like, well, we have a science, very specific. I mean, down to what I'm saying in the beginning to opening loops to closing loops. I mean, the fonts, captions,
Yeah.
it's a science for sure.
Yeah, it kinda is. Yeah, that's kinda like this the area I like to take where I love the like, even, like, with, like, Instagram bios, I love the, like, psychology aspect of it, compared to always saying, "Hey, I've always" "I have all these achievements," but it's like, "Okay, like, how are we actually gonna help someone? Like, how are we actually gonna make sure that this too are" like, one thing we learned was, again, like, yes, we have a ICP, and, like, we have our ICP, like, written out, like, who we our ideal client who we want to attract, but sometimes home tours is a little bit outside of that, like, we don't actually wanna, like, shove our ICP in a home, like, we don't wanna say, "Hey, you military relocator, buy this home." It's like, we actually kinda wanna build the home tour based off of, um, the actual person who might end up living there, whether it's our ICP or not. Our ICP, I think, kinda more or less shows, like, hey, the kinda homes we wanna show, the price range of homes we wanna show. We're not necessarily calling out, like, an ICP in the beginning of a home tour. I mean, I think that's kind of what we've, understood better with, you know, how we name the homes, our text hooks, all that. But for you, did you think content was something that, like, could work for you?
Yeah, I mean, I always figured, or I guess I always hoped
Yeah.
is a good word to put it, that, a big pillar in my business would be social media. I understand the importance of it. I'm not the biggest social media guy previous to this job, but I know how important it is. Like in any business, not even real estate, social media is important today, but in the next 10 to 20 years, it will be the most important thing in your business. And if you don't have it, you will be losing a lot of business. So I always hoped that one day, yes, it would all work out. Did I think I was gonna need a lot of like money put into production and into all, professional cameramen, all these things? Yes, I did believe. I didn't know that I could just using organic content and like just me showcasing a home that I think is cool and that my clients think, it's cool, that other people would think it's cool. And even if that's not like their ideal home, they see me showcasing so many homes, um, and hopefully that gains some of their trust of like, yes, I'm young, but I'm in more homes than most people are, at any given point. Because those are just the homes I'm touring for my social media audience. I'm also like going to broker opens. I'm also showing homes to my clients. I'm going on investor walkthroughs. Like I'm probably going into like 20 to 30 homes any given week
Mm.
or more than that. So that's also just like I'm learning a lot. There's always something to learn in real estate. So, that's kind of the whole idea behind that.
I love that, I love that. Yeah, I think some people sometimes underestimate, I think a lot of people don't understand how much, again, like you said, like 30 or 40 homes. Again, that's you, like, with clients, that's you filming, that's you at broker tours, that's you doing all of it? So, what originally kinda made you kinda, made you pull the trigger to basically, like, join RCA?
Well, I had spoken to like a lot of people. I mean, I'm very conservative with my money and I do a very strong due diligence on anything that I spend money on. I mean, you know that from me by now, but, I think one, like, you had the track record and you were, you know, previously in, like, professional videography and stuff like that, and you straight up told me, like, you don't need that, and not a lot of people will tell you things that you don't need. Usually, they just tell you things that you need so you can spend more money. So that really hit home that you were just pretty honest and transparent. You know, I was able to talk to a couple other agents that you were working with that were having success. So like you could see results compared to some other people that, you know, say there's results. And then another big thing is that you're not a real estate agent. So you know, a lot of people that do help you on social media and stuff or say they can help you are real estate agents. I'm a real estate agent. I'm extremely busy, super busy, and I don't sell thousands of homes every year. So I couldn't imagine how busy someone who sells. I know how busy he is because my team lead sells 100 plus homes probably by himself. So I
Mhm.
know how busy someone is that sells that many homes.
Yeah.
There's no way that someone who sells that many homes can also coach someone on social media. Even my real estate coach doesn't coach one on one because he doesn't have the time to coach one on one. Will he give you the time for one on one? Yes, but he's selling a lot of real estate. He doesn't have that time. So, having someone who can actually dedicate the time and who is solely doing social media marketing for real estate agents, like that is their expertise. They're not, you know, running a transaction. They're not selling a house. They are not helping a buyer purchase a home. They're,
Mhm.
you know, your focus is only on my success on social media. There's no other distractions, you know.
Yeah, I love that. I love how you broke that down. Um, yeah, I guess it's kind of like that. That phrase how they have like brand new agents say. It's like, you know, like, oh, you're a brand new agent. You know, why should I trust you? You know, some people again say that thing where it's like, well, like I'm gonna be true. My time is truly gonna be dedicated to you. Like same thing. My time isn't spent out, you know, showing houses and all this. And like that's the thing is I've been in now like the real estate game long enough to where again I understand 90% of things that at least I need to like show through like content. Like I know, like again, I'm not again, same thing. I'm not gonna help you there like at the signing table by any means. But there are different things with video that we can introduce into your business to increase trust, to increase show up rates, you know, to calls, to consultations, making sure again people actually want to work with you. Um, so like what actually I guess felt I guess that is kind of like what felt different. I was gonna say like what kind of felt different about what we do compared to maybe some of the other things that you see out there.
You weren't just offering like a product or service, you were offering a plan and strategy, if that makes sense. That's like the simplest way I can put it. Most people are just selling you on, you know, this and that. And you're like, no, well, actually, like, let's talk a little bit more deep into that. And like, let's actually break that down and let's actually formulate a plan. And then if we have to tweak the plan after, we can, which we've tweaked our plan a few times. But like, it's always like, there's a general plan and strategy to it rather than like, okay, well, I did this for my business, so it's going to work for you. That's not necessarily true. And you identify like, all right, well, what's working for Zach and what's working for Austin may not work for me. And so you're able to adapt. You're selling a real coaching plan strategy versus like, oh, I'm selling you like a social media like platform or social media like guide or anything like that. That's just like, this
They're
is what you get. Follow the
just the course and letting you
6-week program and you're gonna get these results. Like that's everyone's market's different,
yeah,
everyone's audience is different. So I feel like I guess you're like really a coach versus just someone selling like, all right, here's the 6-week course or whatever.
right. Okay. So what do you feel like actually like changed after joining?
Well, one, we're more, I mean, the only word I can use, scientific when it comes to the posts that we're doing. Like it's not just like putting stuff out to put stuff out. It's all right, we put this piece of content out. Let's critique it it worked, it didn't work, why did it work, why did it not work? What does your audience like? Clearly my audience likes home tours and they want to see homes. Um, so now we're shifting a little bit more towards that. But I also wanted a platform that will actually educate young people into home ownership. So like now we're tweaking that part of the content. So, you know, I think that was the biggest thing of like, just don't put content to put content out. Like, yes, you want to put a lot of content out, but if it's all garbage content, it doesn't get you anywhere. You don't have to have every content be great. You just have to have a lot of like good content. But to get good content, like you do need someone who can like help you and really hone in like, all right, this is like works, this doesn't work. All right, let's go from there.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, everyone asks about the quality versus quantity metric. And like at some point, like, yeah, you do need some quantity, but you at the end of the day, you want to be posting a quantity amount of quality. But if you don't know, if you haven't had those outlier videos, like again, what quality is for you, or again, in your audience gets to pick that quality. I mean, you don't get to pick that quality just because the videographer that you hired has a $5,000 camera. It's going to make it look nice. You know, what does your audience actually deem as quality? And then once you find that out, again, through a little bit of quantity in the beginning, then we can actually find that quality and kind of, again, obviously keep innovating, improving after each one of those ideas. So what do you think was the overall like most helpful thing like in the content academy that you think got your results?
I think the most important thing is you have held me accountable
Mm.
to not just posting, but actually fixing the posts and making it better each time. So I think like the number one thing is like the accountability that even if you don't directly like, you're not a super hard person on people, but like just the combination of like, all right, you pushing us to create better content, but also like, all right, well, he has expectations for me. I
Right.
can't now it's not like I'm letting myself down, I'm letting you down as well. Um, and there's no excuses because
Yeah.
you're doing a lot of the, you know, behind the scenes brainstorming type of work versus like, we're doing, I guess you could say, the manual labor of it.
Sure.
Um, so I think those are the biggest kind of most helpful things for me so far.
Okay. Okay. And so when did I don't know if we want to just put like a time or date into it. Like when do you feel like things like just like started clicking for you?
Probably like the last 2, 3 weeks, really after my accident, it kind of forced me to go back into that, like, mindset when I had my injury early on in the year
Mhm.
of, I can't do open houses. This is now in the span of 4 months, 2 times that I cannot do open houses, which is, like, almost 40% of my business,
Sure.
and that was, like at that time, we were already working together, maybe I think, like, not even 2 weeks when the accident happened, and now I was like, "Oh my god, I'm in this situation again. Alright, I've gotta listen to whatever David tells me because I need this to work. Because if I have bad luck. So if this happens again in the next 2, 3 months, my business is gonna suffer. We've gotta really take this serious now."
Yeah. Because I think you've only been in now for what? I mean, I don't want to say 3 months. I don't think it's even been three. I think
2
it's been
months. No, 2
yeah.
months. I
Yeah, I think
think
so.
it's
I think
either
yeah.
a little bit under, a little bit over, right around that
Yeah,
2.
yeah, it's at and or around that 2 months. Okay. So when was like the first time, and maybe obviously it was just like the first tour. When do you like remember the moment where you realize like, okay, this is actually like working?
It was like 2 weeks ago. That post that's like at 50,000, it started to, I have had some videos do very well on TikTok. 20, 30,000 views and stuff like that. For me, that's very well. compared to what most of my content was doing. So it was probably about 2 weeks ago when that post got 1,000 views and then 2,000 views. I remember it because like my mom was here. She had traveled from Miami to come and visit me, and you know, I, we're spending a lot of time. My mom and my girlfriend were going out to dinner and stuff, and I'm just like, they're like, "What are you doing? Like checking your phone?" And I'm like, "Well, this post is like every like 2 hours I'm getting another 1,000 views, and then I'm like, "Oh my god, this is at 5,000 views," and then it's at, I wake up and it's at 10,000 views, and I'm like, "This is my most, you know, this is my best piece of content I've ever put out." And then in the next 48 hours, I'm surpassing 30,000 plus views, and I have literally from that one post over 700 DMs
Mhm.
about that home. That's when it was just like, "All right, well, David's right. I'm going all in. And I'm gonna start doing these tours." And now I have the ideal post.
Right.
That is an ideal post for me. I'm not really too worried about views. Like you teach us. I'm more worried about how many people are interacting with my post. And at the end of the day, how many DMs do I get
Yeah.
on that post from potential people that I can serve and people that I can be a resource to.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think one trick, maybe it's like something I'll kinda like reveal is like sometimes again in home tours, like some people reveal the price, some people don't. Like overall, my goal is for you to get like DMs because the more DMs you get, like the more opportunities you have to convert someone to be a client. Let's say you show a home or you send them the information and the price is 800,000 when they were hoping that that home was going to be 600,000. Now that very first interaction you have with that person, you have like they have kind of like a bad taste, like a bad feeling in their mouth like, "Oh, they, for one like hid it and then like now when I receive it, it's like not my expectation. Like, oh yeah, this guy only shows the craziest, most expensive homes. Like, I don't know if I want to like look at their stuff again. When again, we both know anyone in real estate knows. Like again, the first home that you show someone isn't most likely isn't going to be the home that they buy. Same thing with tours. The home that they actually comment on probably isn't going to be the home they actually buy. So I don't want to give them reasons to disregard us if just after having like a short conversation I can help like I truly know what they want and they need and we can have a call and if that home ends up being a rec fit for them, then great. Like we can look at that home. Obviously if it's still on the market, but again, most of the time, 99% of the time, it's not that home. So uh, I guess for you like what's been like the biggest change in your business like since then? Is it just like prioritizing content more or just like what's been like the biggest change?
I mean, now part of my lead follow-up, which before was consisted of calls, texts, and emails.
Mhm,
Now DMs is in there, which is crazy to say that. But yes, during my 2 hour, lead gen, lead fault slash lead follow-up time every morning, like
mhm,
DMs are part of that. And I mean, literally on my to-do list, it's no longer just, follow-up calls. It's like follow-up DMs as well. So that's been a big change and wrapping my head around the idea that, yes, when I go spend a couple hours a week to go film tours,
mm,
it is I am, lead genning and I am, not directly prospecting at that time, but I am, working towards it's part of my prospecting is actually recording and editing the videos, just like your script practice would be when you make calls to for sale by owners or expireds. Like, the role play may not seem important or may not seem part of the quote job. But for me, part of my social media strategy, that is just, part of it, part of the job in quotations, which like that was a big mindset shift because it doesn't feel like you're working. For me, working is like servicing clients, having the conversations,
mhm.
open houses, showing, all that stuff. So that was a little bit of a change as well.
Okay. So again, you can be open about some of these things where it's like, what surprised you most about our process, like overall with like content? when you actually joined?
Well, for one, you're not the only one that's doing it. So there's going to be, there's a handful of agents in there that are also doing it in their own respective markets. So you can also like, talk with them, and bounce ideas and what's working for them, what's not working. We're on total different markets. So that's like very helpful. And I think also for like my coaching community, like that I'm in, like that's also very helpful to just have the like-minded people around you. In this case, people that want to go all in on content. And also, I mean, you're building a referral partner for the future. So, out of the 10 or how many people you have in your, that you coach, because I know you're limited because it's one-on-one coaching. Those are potential referrals in the future. You create that relationship, you guys exchange information. And if one day, you know, Zach has a Charlotte referral, you
Yeah.
know, I'm hoping that he would send it to me. Same with, my coaching community. If Sam had a, Charlotte referral, or if I had a Philly referral, like he knows I would send it to him. So it's also creating those referral networks
Yeah.
without having to go to like a conference and go and like do the in-person thing. So that's very helpful. Um, I think the one-on-one is very important for me. It's very important because I understand the complexity of real estate and how hyper local real estate really is. And just because one thing's working for someone in Houston, Texas, doesn't mean it's going to work in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's different types of people. The East Coast is one type of person, the South and the North is one type of person. So that's really important, as just having the one-on-one that's curated to your market needs.
Mhm.
Uh, and then also like giving you the confidence to create the content, knowing that you're putting out like good content.
Mm. Yeah. So what would you say to like an agent who's maybe thinking that content won't work for them, or like they think it's not worth their time?
So I'd say a few things. So first off, know what you want to dedicate your time to. I don't want to dedicate my time to learning the Instagram algorithm or the TikTok algorithm. Like I don't want to dedicate my time to learning what's working on social media at the moment. I want to dedicate my time to selling real estate and helping people buy homes, and best servicing my clients. They keep me very busy. So that's where I want to dedicate my time. So get someone who can help you figure out one of the important pillars. So whatever your pillars are, mine are open houses, my sphere, and social media. I have a coach that helps me with open houses, my real estate coach. I have a coach that helps me with my content. And then my sphere, not much coaching can go in there. That's just me having to make friends and meet people. But my team lead his whole business is off of his sphere, and taking care of people, and the people take care of him. So I have people in a position that can help me in each of my pillars. So find your pillars. Um, don't do 10 things, do 3 things or 4 things, and then find someone who can help you perfect those things. Another advice is just, it's very important to lead gen. Lead gen is the most important part of our business. And without lead genning, it doesn't matter how amazing you are at selling real estate and how amazing you are walking a buyer through a transaction and getting deals done. It doesn't matter. But with all the lead genning in the world and all the potential clients in the world and all the leads in the world, if you don't know how to convert those leads to turn them into clients, and if you don't know how to take care of the client like they deserve to be taken care of, that does all of that doesn't matter. So first, learn how to sell real estate, and how to actually be a resource to potential buyers and sellers and investors. And then what you want to do is, if you do want to go all in on social media, which you can probably do it by yourself, it'll just take you, 300 or 400% longer. Find someone that can actually help you, that's truthfully going to dedicate the one-on-one. Don't do the courses, don't do all that stuff. Like, it's probably not going to work for you. It may, but it's probably not. For me, it was essential to get the one-on-one.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, because same thing, like what you said before, it's, you can yeah, I technically, like, again, I have a, quote unquote, what some people might call like a course section. Like I might make new videos. There's like new SOPs that I'm always building out, like adding to the academy, trying to do that each week now. But it's again, I can give you all that information, but it's like the actual execution, same thing. Like, yeah, I can, show you how to make this kind of text hook. Maybe that doesn't work in your area. Maybe in someone's location, only posting prompt reels, our short, 3 to 7 second videos that loop value in the caption. Maybe that will be a main lead generation for someone else because they have like this magnificent, beautiful area like Southern California or South Florida, places that are like physically beautiful like all year long. Maybe those work great, but it's not going to be for everyone. So if you don't have, whether it's me or someone else, a one-on-one coach to make sure that it's like, okay, diagnosing that issue, like, hey, what should we post? What kind of, funnel of content should we be posting? What do we actually need right now? What do we not need? Maybe prompt reels work for you, these shorter, like 3 to 7 second videos. Like, I want to figure that out in the first like week. Hey, if these don't work, boom, we're switching to home tours. We're switching to education. I want to help you provide the information, the education that you want to say, but actually showing it in a way that people want to watch and actually have that video perform. So again, if you're only posting prompt reels, yeah, maybe you're getting a lot of views and followers, but again, your quality of lead is going to be a 3 upwards of maybe 6 out of 10. When you have a home tour, generally your lead's going to start at that 6 out of 10, upwards of 10 out of 10 quality. And it can be in that range. So what do you think would happen if like you never started posting content or maybe even just continued with what you were doing?
I mean, I think like one day it would have worked,
Right.
and maybe I would have gotten lucky. But was there some luck involved with this post popping off? And the next post popped off. Maybe there was some luck, but like it doesn't feel like luck compared to like I do think eventually I would have got lucky and something would have clicked maybe in 2 years or 4 years or whenever. But I think this has saved me so much time and so much headache. And just like my content's just getting so much better. So quick. And it's not just like me saying this, it's like, my family and my friends, like, my team that I'm on, like even other agents in my marketplace, reaching out to me and letting me know how cool my tours are and how authentic my tours are. The people I talk to, like, it's like, and this is I haven't spent any money on equipment or a videographer or someone editing. Like,
Mm.
I'm recording, I'm editing, I'm posting. Obviously, I'm like the mannequin and you're pulling the strings, but um, it's not like a huge production.
Yeah. And I think that's like one of the next steps for anyone. Again, you're only like, you shouldn't probably have everything delegated because again, that's like my end goal is like making sure that again at some point you do have 90% of all this delegated aside from maybe posting at the most, adding some text on the screen and pressing upload. And then eventually, most optimally getting to something like, long form YouTube content where we can build trust, where we can actually use those long form videos as call to actions, in our short form content and push people in again, build those multiple platforms of people increasing time and trust with us. But again, literally we're like 2 months in, we're starting to again get, VAs to do, DMs, follow ups, because, it's go again, that's the thing. You solve one issue, kind of like content. You can have we're opening some loops. Now we got to close them. And sometimes you have to open new ones. And same thing, a lot of DMs, a lot of convos, which means that, you know, multiple things pop up now that we have to solve. And eventually that gets offloaded. But there's that middle ground where we kind of do have to learn something new.
Yeah.
So I guess I got one more question for you, which was overall, do you think joining the Real Estate Content Academy was worth it?
Yeah, 100% worth it. If anyone is, you know, an agent in their market, they're trying to grow on social media, they're lost, they don't know what to do, what to post, you need guidance. I definitely think, your coaching is by far the best coaching you're gonna get out of anyone. This is your specialty. You're not a, jack of all traits and a master of none. Like you are a master of this. You've been doing it for a very long time. So, I definitely think it is a no-brainer. It's the best money you're gonna spend. Um, you just need the one-on-one coaching. You need that advisor. Um, you know, and you're pretty straight up, very transparent, very honest. That's also very important.
Yeah, yeah, appreciate that, man. Well, I guess anyone watching, that's Jaime. If you want to see his Instagram, I'll put it in the wherever you're watching this. If it happens to be, YouTube, you can obviously I'll link it down the description below. His Instagram right now is Jaime Jaime underscore real estate. If you want to check him out. Um, Otherwise, yeah, they'll make sure any other agent follows you as well. But I appreciate the time for the interview, and we will see you guys on the other side.